So far, I had made it all the way from Alaska to Panama, the spiritual and more or less physical halfway point of my journey. And that was a cause to celebrate. So before I got back on the road, I decided to recharge in a volcanic thermal mud bath. Whilst I'm waiting for it to dry, I think I'm going to meditate. While there, I met a very interesting man named Juan, who came from what he described as a small village up the river from Panama City. And though it would add a few days to my journey, I decided to take up Juan's offer to visit his village. I often talk about the hazards of our disconnected, connected life, and this was a chance to see what a truly off-the-grid life could look like. I'm on my way to the Panamanian jungle, to this tribe. Supposedly they have no electricity. I'm going to ask the chief if I can stay. We'll see what he says. But I want to immerse myself fully in that kind of life, that kind of world. A world inspired and led by nature. Juan had told me that the only way to his village was by river, so kindness too would have to remain behind for this part of my adventure. Hello. How are you? I'm good. I must confess, though I was expecting a boat, I wasn't expecting a hand-carved canoe the length of a tree that must have taken weeks to build. But I loved it, and the juxtaposing image of this very white Englishman in this authentic shallow river vessel.
What's your name?
Leon!
Alejandro.
Alejandro, hello! I was incredibly excited to get to the village. I feel like I'm heading into the last of the Mohicans. And after a long journey of about an hour through the breathtaking jungle landscape, I learned we were still nowhere near it. The treacherous features of the shallow riverbanks kept my expert guides on their toes, literally. It's so interesting, he keeps on whistling, and I think he's whistling to the chap in the back, guiding him as to which way to go. But after several near misses and escapes... Hold on. On one very shallow section, we got stuck. We ran aground. I tried to help when I could. I don't know if I'm helping, but it looks like I am. Being stuck wasn't the only problem, as the shallow rocks had also bent the propeller. It was then I realised I was in the middle of the jungle on a broken boat and we didn't have any tools. Oddly, for whatever reason, I had not yet panicked. But there was no need because my trusty guides, fixing the propeller, were also great improvisers. It's good! We fixed it. And with that, we continued on. I've been on this boat now for maybe, I don't know, a few hours, and we keep going further and further and further in to the wilderness. There it is. I mean, I'm literally in the middle of nowhere in a Panamanian jungle. I have never been more at the mercy of nature than I have been now. Hey! The village itself was a wonderful collection of simple thatched roof huts, built directly into the jungle landscape with no power lines or roads to break up the picture-perfect setting. Hello! The colourful garments they wore were beautiful, just as the people themselves, especially the children with their happy, expressive faces. Whatever modern conveniences they lacked, they didn't seem to miss them. Shortly after arriving, I met Mateo, my host for the visit. Thank you very much for bringing me into your home. I feel honoured, you know, truly. No. This is so beautiful. What is it like to live here?
For me, all the national for the river, this is a clear river, so this is a free for food or fish.
I would like to see how you live. I would like to experience it. It would mean a lot to me. So I would like to go fishing. I would like to go into the jungle. I would like to become part of your community.
Always welcome this community. So today we are very, very happy for your...
Thank you so much. And Matthew, if you come to Los Angeles, you can come and stay in my house. Okay?
Oh.
Is that a deal?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. If I was going to become part of the village, it seemed logical to assess my basic jungle survival skills. It's like this. Like that. Caught one!
For dinner.
You cooked it for dinner. That's amazing. Good for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I have to try.
Where?
Yeah, just over there.
Oh.
Make sure there are no children. I don't want to accidentally stab one. I nearly got one. Oh my God, I got a fish! Oh no. I thought I got one. I'm not a very good fisherman. I came like this close to like getting a fish that was like this big. But I failed. You guys caught a fish! Well done! Tonight we eat. Yeah? Tonight we eat. They caught a fish. Put me to shame, but that's all good. So, after the fishing round, the score was Jungle 1, Leon 0. Maybe hunting wasn't my thing, but perhaps gathering would be a better fit.
This one used for after if we get it for a snake.
So if a snake bites you,
yes.
This is anti-poison, anti-venom.
Yes, anti-poison, yes. This one we ancestors used for stomach.
Everything that we go to the pharmacy for, these guys find in nature. It's just everywhere.
This is spade. Boat. This is from this.
Okay,
wood.
so you take this tree and you make a boat.
Yes.
So the boat that we came in today was made from this tree.
Yes. First time you visit like this place?
Yeah, this is the first time I've been to a real jungle like this. It turns out I'm just very much built for urban dwelling, but there was one way that I could succeed in this particular jungle. Soccer.
Rain, rain, sing me a song.
I realised a life of fishing and footy was probably as close to perfect as one could hope for.
You, the new all along. I've cut my ties.
She's definitely an artiste. I was speaking to a few of the villagers. What I find incredible is that they choose to live here. They choose to live in the jungle, to live off the land. They don't have iPhones. I mean, iPhones don't work here. They don't need to Facebook and tweet each other and see how many likes they have. They're together. The morning brought with it more majestic views. Welcome to paradise. It's really quite unbelievable to wake up to this. But I felt pretty much the whole evening that I was held by the jungle. The river was flowing. It was a beautiful way to put me to sleep. When I take that boat out of here, I will be taking a part of this village with me. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your kindness that you have shown me these past 24 hours. Chief, thank you very much for making me part of your family.
We very, very happy for your visit.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you.
Gracias. Whoa.
It was hard to say goodbye, but it was time to move from this jungle to the next. In many ways, Panama City was more beautiful than I expected.
Wow, this is amazing.
Sadly, my time in the capital was rushed because of a very important date with a very beautiful lady.
We're about to board a container ship to cross the Darien Gap. I pre-arranged the ship because I knew that crossing by land was impossible. We're going to go to Colombia by sea.
Kindness 2 and I left Panama via the most famous canal in the entire world, bypassing the impassable and infamous Darien Gap, and making our way south down the Pacific coastline of Colombia.
I just left Buenaventura and I'm on my way to Cali. Now, I'm not going to stop in Cali, I'm going to do like a drive-through because they have this amazing statue which I've always wanted to visit. It's on the top of the mountain and you can see the entire city. So I'm about to go up to the Christ statue and see Cali from below. Whoa, stinks. Habla inglés?
No.
Hello, give me 5. I'm just gonna have to wait it out and hope that it uncools. I mean, it is literally, it's on fire.
Part of the magic of Kindness 2 is that often, if I just leave her, she will fix herself.
Please work. I love it! That's amazing. Along my journeys around the world, people have always come up to me and they say to me, after I get to know them, they're like, "Are you a religious man?" And I always have to say to them, you know, I'm not a religious man. But when you come to a place like this, something touches your heart. I don't know what it is, but something touches right into the center of your heart. So when they ask me if I'm a religious man, I will start saying that I am a man of faith.
After taking in the views, I was back on the road, thanks to another gift of gasoline,
¿Cómo te llamas?
Edgar.
and drove a few more hours to reach my next destination.
It's very, very tiring. Very tiring. Do you speak English? You speak English? You speak English? ¿Habla inglés? Whenever I go home from my trips, always I am asked, how did the language barrier go? Didn't you have a problem with the language? And I always say the same thing. I just go up to people and say, do you speak English? And most of them say no, which is exactly what's happening right now. So I have an idea. Habla inglés? ¿Habla inglés? No? ¿Habla inglés? No? Well, at least they're talking to me now.
Just when I started to realise I would once again be sleeping in kindness too, I met a friendly stranger who brought me hope, literally.
So what does hope mean to you?
It allows me to keep dreaming and keep maintaining the idea that I need will come to me. What do you need? What are you looking for?
Well, basically, I don't have anything.
You have everything. The moment you wake up, you have everything. The moment you need a place to stay, you need a place to eat, what do you need?
I need a place to stay. Some food would be good.
Yeah.
But basically, I need some hope. Is there any way you can help me?
And you need a place to stay
Yes.
for you tonight. I think I can arrange it, but first I need to ask my aunt. Super. Listo, ti. Gracias, gracias. Okay, besito. Ciao. There you go.
Yes?
You've got it. Done.
Thank you very, very much. You gave me hope when I was hopeless. What is the kindest thing that someone has ever done for you?
Trusted me.
Trusted you.
Yeah. Without knowing me. Without knowing me. He was the director of the university where I studied. And as I had my project to get overseas and study there, I went to him. He barely knew me. And I talked to him and I said, I need financial support. Because I'm an artist. And
Oh, you're an artist?
Yeah, I am a dancer.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If someone said to you that there was something that they could give you to help you, what would be the most help you could receive?
I would like to support Colombian artists to also give them to Europe, or me to get back here and try to share with them my knowledge.
As we walked to her aunt's house, I learnt that for Isabel the artist, her art is her voice. So the lack of support for arts funding in her country left her feeling both unseen and unheard in the world. A dynamic I understood on the most personal level.
And what does art mean to you?
I think for every artist it means something different, but for me art means you have the freedom. You don't have to compromise to bring your personal message to the people around you. And in my case, it is through dancing, through movement, through choreography, to share something new with people in the hope that they can gain something with it.
How does kindness and compassion and empathy play a role in your art?
How? Almost every second, with every person around you. I also go to the personal level of the dancers and understand and be compassionate. It's not just the final objective, the final performance, what happens at the human level, what happens at the personal level.
What would you do if you could do any piece of artwork you wanted?
Well, I will engage many dancers for many nationalities. And I will arrange so much. I will arrange lighting and cameramen and many people to build up a piece full of message, yeah, full of love, full of serenity. So I think as an artist you have the responsibility to show everything together, the black and the white, the yin and the yang. The positive, the less positive.
What is something negative that has happened to you that has inspired you to give a message of hope?
For me, as an artist, as it was an injury in my lower back, having the possibility to maybe not dance again, it was a confrontation with my health, with my dark sides, and feeling yourself completely alone.
we think that we have to tell the world that everything's okay. And in fact, when things are not okay, it's okay to share. How do you want to affect people positively with your art?
Art is coming from the inner being, from love, from light. And if people can be touched by that way, I'm pretty sure they can find a way to liberate themselves, to be what they really are.
That was beautiful. When we met earlier today, and you had that sign of hope, it touched me in that moment. And I want to give you something.
Yeah.
I want to give you the opportunity to create any piece of art you want, and I will pay for all of it.
It's amazing.
Any work of art that you feel in your heart will touch other people's lives, I will help pay for.
Thank you very much. That's very generous from you. Thank you. Can I hug you?
Of course.
Thank you very much.
I imagine that for every person on the planet, there is a different definition of happiness. Because as people, we are as varied as the landscapes that surround us. And it is in those differences where most often the beauty is found. And when we spend our lives celebrating and embracing those differences, that is the moment when life becomes art.